Equity Group Foundation, or EGF in short, is a not-for-profit foundation established in Kenya in 2008. It is the social arm of Equity Group Holdings plc that operates in 6 countries in Eastern and Central Africa. The foundation seeks to transform the lives and livelihoods of the people of Africa through programs activated through 6 pillars. These are the education and leadership development, enterprise development and financial inclusion, food and agriculture, energy and environment, health, and social protection. So far, EGF has equipped more than 33 million people with economic opportunities, skills, tools, and technologies to prepare them for the future. Education and leadership development initiatives break the cycle of poverty and develop the next generation of leaders through increased access to secondary and tertiary education, impacting 26,304 students to date. Notably, EGF's Wings to Fly program admits bright scholars from needy backgrounds to transit to secondary school. The program has an over 96% secondary school completion, with 82% of scholars attaining university entry grades. Another signature initiative, the Equity Leaders Program, connects top-performing secondary school graduates to leadership training, coaching, and mentoring prior to proceeding to university. The program has 13,775 university scholars, 633 of whom are attending or are alumni of leading universities across the world. Under the Enterprise Development and Financial Inclusion pillar, EGF stimulates job creation and economic growth by providing micro, small and medium enterprises with advice and entrepreneurship training, and further improves financial capability and individual and household security by connecting people to expert financial education and access to financial services.
We are glad that our purpose distilled down to offering integrated financial services that socially and economically empower consumers, businesses, and communities have attracted the support of like-minded partners. I recognize the MasterCard Foundation for teaming with us to train 2.2 million bubbling young men and women to become entrepreneurs through a financial literacy program.
So far, 191,305 micro, small, and medium-sized business owners have been trained on entrepreneurship, with over 140,000 of the MSMEs have received 57.5 billion shillings under the Young Africa Works program, helping businesses to thrive. Through EGF's Food and Agriculture pillar, the program helps to create jobs, improve market access, and expand agricultural production by working in partnership with small and medium-sized farmers to increase their production capabilities and access technology and financial services. Under this pillar, 2 million small-scale farmers have transformed to farming as a business, while almost 40,000 small and medium-sized farmers have been supported to adopt modern methods of farming for increased yields. The focus of the Energy and Environment pillar is the conservation and smart use of natural resources by expanding forest cover, improving water security, and promoting the use of renewable energy and energy-efficient technologies. The pillar has impacted 780,000 households and businesses to access clean energy products, including solar panels for lighting and heating in homes, schools, and hotels. The pillar has encouraged installation of biodigesters for biogas for cooking and generating electricity to power on-farm activities. More than 240,000 households have embraced clean energy products, while 3.12 million trees have been planted to increase forest cover and conserve the environment. The health pillar provides access to comprehensive health financing and private sector-led, affordable, high-quality, and standardized health services. So far, 33 Equity Afya franchise-owned medical clinics are operating in Kenya, with more than 305,560 cumulative patient visits. Under the Social Protections Pillar, EGF has committed to reduce social and economic risk and vulnerability and alleviate extreme poverty and deprivation through cash transfers. It provides thousands of marginalized and vulnerable households living in Kenya, Uganda, Rwanda, and South Sudan with social payments through cash transfers. The foundation is involved in 22 programs across East and Central Africa, serving 3.3 million persons. So far, 77.4 billion shillings has been disbursed via equity cash transfer infrastructure. This is but a glimpse of the activities of EGF in our pursuit of championing the socio-economic prosperity of the African people. We invite you to learn more and join us.
Opportunities abound in the Democratic Republic of Congo, DRC. The country is endowed with arable lands, rich mineral deposits, and an insatiable market for goods and services required by the almost 100 million population. In April 2021, President Uhuru Kenyatta of Kenya and President Felix Tshisekedi of the DRC signed a bilateral agreement that would see greater collaboration between the two countries. The agreement culminated in a 15-day trade mission to the DRC organized by the Kenya and DRC governments and facilitated by Equity Group.
I believe it is a moment of rare regional and continental pride as we witness our local enterprises coming together in the spirit of one Africa, one people.
And the theme, Unlocking Trade, Tourism and Investment Opportunities in DRC and the Great Lakes region, the trade mission attracted more than 300 Kenyan investors, entrepreneurs, and small and medium enterprises SMEs. The delegates first jetted into Kinshasa, a metropolis that is home to more than 16 million people. They were led by Kenya's Trade Cabinet Secretary Betty Maina, Equity Group Managing Director and CEO Dr. James Mwangi, Equity Group Chairman Professor Isaac Masharia, and the host, Equity BCDC Managing Director Celesta Mukeba.
We are very, very entrepreneurial. We seek new opportunities, and I've actually met Kenyans who have been in this market doing business for a while already. So this is, I think, for me, a great opportunity, and we present the opportunity in Congo as an opportunity for Kenyans to come and set up here.
The Kenyan entrepreneurs, captains of industry, and government agencies representatives were joined in the business forums, exhibitions, panel sessions, and site visits by more than 2,000 Congolese counterparts who were also keen to forge business partnerships.
J'ai la ferme conviction que la mission commerciale RDC-Kenya visant à rapprocher nos deux pays est de nature à renforcer nos relations en matière d'échanges commerciaux transfrontaliers facilités à ce jour par la zone de libre-échange continentale.
It's not every other time you get such opportunities where people open doors, actually walk in, see the opportunities, come back home and invite you to go and see what is available for you to do. And you can see this is a very big team. We have farmers here, we have engineers here, we have architects here, we have doctors here. It's a whole team. Just come and look for a niche for yourself, deliver on that, partner with the people on the ground, and you're good to go. It's a very good thing that Equity are involved in this, and I must say congratulations for holding our hands and bringing us. We have a time now to sit back and say these are the opportunities that we had, and this is what we did.
Giving a comprehensive prospectus of opportunities in the DRC, Dr. Mwangi said the trade mission was advised by the need for business decisions to be made guided by facts on the ground.
Today we started the Kenya DRC trade mission. We brought 253 Kenyan entrepreneurs. They are being hosted by over 2,000 Congolese business people. And the objective is to get Kenyan entrepreneurs to see the opportunity in DRC. The second one is to forge partnerships and collaboration with entrepreneurs of DRC so that we promote joint ventures.
Dr. Mwangi put in perspective the economic situation in the DRC, illustrating that the vast country is where Kenya was when only 6% of the population was banked.
DRC, from the financial sector, is where Kenya was in the early 90s. We're talking about 6% of the population being banked, 94% excluded. So this is a market we can grow very rapidly, much faster than we grew in Kenya, where we moved from number 66 to become number 1 largest bank in Kenya.
What Equity has done, I think, is one of a first, because Equity has been able to demystify the whole trade across DRC.
Kenya's Trade Chief Administrative Secretary Lawrence Karanja lauded Equity for partnering with the DRC and Kenyan governments for what he termed as part of a greater vision of the Africa Free Trade Area.
Kenya is keen to enhance trade relations through COMESA, tripartite, and African Free Continental Trade Area. And as I've said, we are pleased to welcome DRC into the East African community, because by so doing, we'll be having a market of more than 200 million people within the East African region. That is a market, and I will be asking the people of DRC and the people of Kenya to look at that opportunity which is coming.
We want more of this because it's bringing like-minded people together. What is also the missing link is normally money. How do you de-risk an opportunity? Working with equity.
Their handles so you can tag them. Karibu Dr. Mwangi.
Thank you very much, Alex. Our guests, our partners, our IFC and British International Investment PLC, represented here today by my friend Mohammed, the IFC Vice President, Risk and Finance, and Stephen Presley, and your colleagues. We are very excited to be hosting you today. We are delighted that you safely made it last night to be with us today. To our board led by our group chair, Professor Macharia, and your vice chair and the chairman of the board of Kenya, we are really glad that you could be with us today. Today is a very significant day. into the future of Equity Group. It's a day that we are welcoming and publicly introducing our very strong partners and revealing publicly the collaboration and partnership that we have been crafting behind the scenes. For the Kenyan people and for the region in general, today is also a great day because of the impact that collaboration is likely to have in the region. So allow me to say a couple of words on this initiative. As citizens of the East African region, a region that we operate in 6 markets, you all know it has been a long journey for Equity to be where it is and to start significantly contributing to the development of the region. It has been a long walk. We have walked very fast. Just in one generation, we have seen Equity rising from the grassroots, becoming Kenya's largest bank, and becoming East and Central African largest financial institution in terms of assets. We have seen it build a customer base of nearly 17 million customers, who it continues to empower. As a result, we have seen significant impact with millions of East Africans and Central African, particularly DRC, being empowered to realize their dreams. We have seen Equity grow from strength to strength and enlarge its offering of financial products. We have seen Equity Group come into being and incorporate a social arm to ensure everybody is included and nobody is left behind. We have seen children go to school under the Wings to Fly program. We have seen young people start a business at the Young Africa Works. We have seen the region changing its energy sources, moving to clean energy. We have seen change of energy sources for most of our schools and our public institutions. We have seen the financial sector reshaped by the presence of Equity, call it democratization of financial services, call it what it may be, in whichever name, that we have witnessed. Equity has done this with the support of many partners, among them IFC, among them the British International Investment, previously known as CDC, huge collaboration, and others. But today, we're saying we have realized we need not only go fast, but we need to go very, very far. And we have chosen to go into now not a financial services journey, but a development journey for Africa. Equity Group has launched the African Recovery and Resilience Plan, inspired by the launch of the Marshall Plan after the Second World War. Our Second World War has been COVID. We have seen how COVID-19 has ravaged the region, how it has disrupted global supply chain, necessitating us to think about setting regional and national champions to fill the void and the vacuums that have been left behind. But we have realized to be able to do that, we need global partnerships, we need trade and investment to work. We need those who own the global supply chains to set national and regional supply chains to help us to set them up. We need the global capital to flow so that it can finance those setups. And together, regional, national institutions can partner with global institutions to do all this together. So we have come up with the Marshall Plan for Africa, the Africa Recovery and Resilient Plan. Two powerful words are framed together. The first one is to recover. But we don't just want to recover, we want to build better. We have realized what doesn't work. We want to build our institutions in a more sustainable way. If we build them sustainably, then they will be resilient for future shocks. They would be able to do better and to cope with the challenges of the future much, much better. But under this theme is also rapid growth, development, and transformation of Africa. That is what recovery and resilience will have as the final outcome. So this plan has 5 pillars in it. The first one is to look at what we have, that we have a competitive advantage. And we said we have a very competitive advantage in terms of agricultural resources. We have land and we have people to produce from an agricultural perspective. And we felt the greatest thing that agriculture needs to go through is a productivity transformation. We know the agrarian revolution, we know the green revolution, and what they have produced. And we felt that productivity gains in agricultural sector would easily transform Africa. The second aspect is natural resources. Call them extractive industry, if that's the appropriate name, but we felt we are naturally endowed with natural resources. But we haven't fully utilized our natural resources or exploited them well. And we felt there was a huge opportunity. These two components, agriculture, primary sector, and natural resources, gave us to think of how our manufacturing in the continent can be set up. It can be set up to add value to our agricultural produce, call it agricultural raw materials, and our extractives, natural resources. And that is how we thought the manufacturing in Africa will happen. It will be agro-processing led and value addition in our natural resources instead of exporting them as raw materials. But we are not naive to realize that if we do things the same way, we'll get the same results. Our natural resources, our land, our agriculture has existed for the last 60 years since independence of most of the African countries. We felt the charm that could really get Africa to really transform itself through manufacturing, using its own natural resources, is collaboration with the rest of the world. And we felt the third pillar would be investment and trade. We get global investors, capital flows into the African continent, we point them to the opportunities, and then we build both national, regional, and continental trade, and also trade with the rest of the world. We felt the East African community, as expanded with the inclusion of DRC, would be a good beginning. The African Continental Free Trade Area would be a good base of scaling that initiative. And then we could globalize trade. And that is the third pillar of the African Recovery and Resilient Plan. But we knew capitalists and owners of capital, entrepreneurs exist in Africa. And we looked for them and we found them in the micro, small, and medium enterprises. And we felt they should not be left behind. We should focus on them, formalize them, and organize them to become the supply chains of the first three pillars. They should populate the supply chain of manufacturing, the supply chain of agriculture, natural resource exploitation, and also the global trade supply chains. And in the process, we'll have included the hosts, the citizens of Africa in all these plans. We'll ensure they participate, they are involved, we co-create with them. But we realized there are challenges and barriers that confront them. And so the Marshall Plan has paid greater attention to our small and micro enterprises, the pillar 4 of our transformation plan. And that gave birth to the 5th pillar, which is capacity building among the people, the micro, small, and enterprises. Before formalizing them, let's build capacity, let's enhance their capacity so that they can formalize and become part of the supply chain and ecosystems of the manufacturing sector, of the natural resources, of the primary sectors, and the two can be interwoven and interconnected such that they become sustainable. And that is really what will create resilience. That capacity building will involve education, particularly TVET courses, skills, technical skills for our people, financial literacy, entrepreneurship training. And we have piloted that for the last 3 years with Young Africa Works. We set aside some funds with MasterCard Foundation and focused on reaching out to young people and introducing entrepreneurship to them. We have trained 446,000 young people. 216,000 has borrowed from us. They have set about 182 enterprises, and the 182 enterprises have been able to employ 1.2 million people. The pilot has been completed, and we are certified that the building of the new Africa, using the skills and the competence of the young people, using the power of the enterprise, using the power of the markets, could help Africa find its place. It's on the basis of that, then we asked ourselves, how resilient and how sustainable this plan is, and a deep dive caused us to add on capacity building a focus on environment. We felt Africa should do its transformation, its industrialization differently. It should put energy sources up front. What energy source will Africa use to industrialize? And we felt that it is not just capacity building, it's capacity building in a clean environment, clean energy utilization, and preservation of the environment. So essentially, energy, clean energy, became the focus of this plan, generating and using clean energy, and where each financing of new sources of energy for the continent. Hydro, a big one. Wind, a big one. Solar, a big one, just to ensure we don't fall in the trap of using fossil fuels in the industrialization of Africa. This plan, we couldn't do it by ourselves. It was not about going fast now. It's about going very far in the industrialization of Africa. And we were looking for partners. And I'm glad today we will be enhancing the partnership and collaborations and relationship we have had with 2 or 3 of our long-term partners to a level of collaboration, not at the institutional level, but to a continental level, a partnership in the African Recovery and Resilience Plan. We have worked together, and I want to really applaud IFC. For 4 days, we spent time with them on a retreat. Friend Mohammed, we were really humbled that IFC could dedicate about 20 people for a period of 3 days to co-create this plan, to cross-check every dot on the plan and say, then yeah, we can go public and pronounce ourselves as partners for an African transformation plan. So today, in not any order, we welcome IFC, International Finance Corporation, a member of the World Bank Group, the largest development bank on earth, joining Equity Group in 2 perspectives. The first one becoming the second largest shareholder. Ultimately, you need to be anchored by shareholders because there are risks to be taken. There are people who provide the capital that will be required. And we are really glad we welcoming Mohammed and going public and saying that we now have a long-term investor in IFC. I don't want to use this word, but allow me, for lack of a better word, going public to say we have an anchor shareholder who have deep pockets. You can't be the largest development bank on earth if you don't have deep pockets. And we believe that's what IFC is. And those pockets, we'll try to dip our hearts into them so that we can see Africa transform. As a generation of Africans, we are inspired by what our fathers did. 60 years ago, they managed to give us freedom and liberty of independence. As a generation, our obligation, our responsibility is also to give the next generation of our children economic independence, economic freedom, freedom from hunger, freedom from malnutrition of our children, freedom from not having choices of being in school because you can't afford, freedom from not making the choice to go to hospital because you can't afford. We must have the freedom to go to hospital when we need to go to hospital. Our children must have the freedom to be in school when they are of school-going age. Our farmers must have the freedom to grow because the markets are accessible to them. Our entrepreneurs must have the freedom to participate in global trade because they have the capacity and they are empowered with the resources. And Africa needs to get to the marketplace on the same footing like anybody else, pricing its products because it has the same bargaining capability like the buyers and the other sellers in the marketplace. That is what the African Recovery and Resilience Plan would be. And of course, a partner like IFC saying, we'll backstop you from the risk. And shareholders really backstop an organization in terms of risk. They underwrite the risk. And I'm glad to say IFC is underwriting the risk of the entire group to the tune of 6.7% of whatever risk the group is taking. That's how significant. And we are glad that IFC is also joining a long-term institutional investor, allies, composed of NOFAD, Norwegian Sovereign Wealth Fund, again, the largest sovereign wealth fund on earth, with excess of $1.2 trillion. A financial expert like IFC, but now on the commercial field, FMO of Netherlands, and Rabobank, the largest agricultural bank on earth. So it's incredible. Our shareholders, the largest development bank on earth, the largest sovereign wealth fund, the largest agricultural bank. Chairman, we are challenged. What will we say we are largest on? And we'll find that space, and maybe the African Recovery and Transformation Plan will give us an opportunity and a niche to be big in something. But looking back, we have no doubt we are the largest bank in Kenya, so we have started the journey. We are the largest bank in East and Central Africa, so the journey has started in many respects. And hopefully, because we said it's a long journey, in the fullness of time, Mohammed will make you proud as a shareholder, speaking on behalf of IFC. Now, today is not just a question of a global institution based in Washington, America, but we're also joined by the British premier investment arm, the British International Investment. Most of us know, and I hope I'm not making a mistake, this is the oldest European investment bank. So, you know, what a choice of partners. So when you talk about resilience, and you're dealing with the oldest development bank in Europe, that it tells you how lucky we have been as an institution, how much knowledge there is in store that we can use from this institution. Our journey with British International Investment, formerly called CDC, started many years ago. I think we had a partnership in HF, if I'm not mistaken, and it has been a partner in enabling us by boosting our funding base. So DII have been a ladder to equity. But the two institutions we have today have teamed up together and said, we'll be the first one to show the world that we believe in the African Recovery and Resilience Plan. And together with our partners, today they are announcing an investment of $165 million to support equity, to build the capacity in the micro, small, and medium enterprises. It couldn't have been so humbling for these two great institutions to pick on what I considered the most impactful aspect of the Marshall Plan. Pillar number 4, mainstreaming micro, small, and medium enterprises to populate the value chain, the ecosystems of the manufacturing sector, and the primary sectors of agriculture and extractive industries. That, I want to say, to me, demonstrate the sincerity of the commitment, because micro and small enterprises speak to our hearts as Africans, because that is the face of our entrepreneurship. That is a hard of encouragement so that we have equal participation as Africans to this plan. What we are being empowered to drive our own plan. It's not a foreign plan, it's an African plan driven by Africans, and Africans are just being given a supporting hand, just a supporting hand to be able to play their life role in transforming themselves, enhancing their dignity, and expanding opportunity for the young people in Africa, creating job opportunities, developing the technologies that will be used in the plan, producing the raw materials that will be used in the manufacturing sector, and preparing themselves in terms of capacity. So these $165 million facility has been led by these two global institutions, the largest development bank on earth and the oldest development bank, coming together and supporting. They have many friends, so they have pulled together their friends from responsibility and symbiotic and said, this is the path. It is very, very significant to find four institutions syndicating together and says, let's have a significant seeding of this plan. So Equity has set aside $4 billion. So already we have jumped up to $5 billion quickly within that short period of partnership since this morning. What a beginning. What a beginning. How quickly this story then could spread. So it gives me a little great pleasure to say we are really, really honored to take the responsibility of empowering our micro enterprises, nurturing them to grow, building their capacity. They are the future multinationals from Africa. And by being brought in an organized plan, a long-term plan, the tailwind will grow them to great heights. They will grow to become global institutions. So I count myself as very, very privileged. I can say when Africa was transforming, I was part of it. And as I reflect, I've only asked myself the question, will I jump high enough for Africa? Africa needs all of us to jump. Will we jump high enough to see the transformation? When my children ask me, will I take pride and say, I did all I could to make Africa transform? I played my role well, and I inspired others because of the way I acted. I hope all those in the room will have that as a question to answer. It is our generation that has the honor and the privilege of changing the course of Africa. When that opportunity was given to us, how did we handle it? To me, service to community is a sacred duty. We have a sacred duty to serve Africa as Africans. We are very lucky we are not walking on our own. The world has chosen to give us a supporting hand. This time, it's not about AIDS, it's not about handouts. It's about, with honor and dignity, supporting us to do what we have to do for ourselves. Let me add that I'm becoming increasingly a good student of history, and I've realized no civilization has ever developed another civilization. We owe ourselves a duty to develop ourselves as a civilization. Professor Macharia, our chairman, when history is written, will ask, what role did our chairman play? Eric will ask, were you a good custodian for the environment when it happened? Rashma, the question will be asked, you were the gatekeeper for the ESG. How did you play? So each of us, Humphrey, I can talk about you. You are the one to lead the trade missions. How did you do it? So it is not about launching a plan, it's how we execute the plan. I don't know whether the fourth estate will be asked, and how much did you educate the people? How much did you rally the people through communication? So I hope all of us will play our role, because our global partners have chosen to demonstrate commitment to our dream, not their dream, our dream. And with honor and dignity, empower us to do what we have to do for ourselves. I thank you for listening to me. It's now my singular honor, Alex, to invite my friend Stephen on behalf of the British International Investment to speak to the audience and lead, give us the commitment that the British International Investment has in supporting the African Transformation Plan, the Africa Recovery and Resilience Plan through the support of the micro and small enterprise. Stephen.
Thank you, Group CEO. Good morning. My name is Stephen Priestley, representing the British International Investment, recently renamed from the CDC, which is, as you honorably mentioned, the oldest development finance arm in Europe. And we are part of the UK government. But really why I'm here today is to celebrate the growing partnership together with the equity group that's been referred to this morning, and our excitement to be part of the group's ambition and inspirational plan to turbocharge the African Recovery and Resilience Plan, which personally I find a very inspirational and a motivating call to action that I think differentiates the equity group as one of the key players of driving, as you call it, your own development agenda on the continent to go further. So we're trying to do our little part as the BII by participating in providing long-term patient capital to this group so you can realize your ambitions as set out in the five-point plan. And we're going to be contributing in this $165 million, together with our partners IFC, our $50 million to pursue the important agenda of micro and small enterprises, as well as climate smart investments. And we think these dual objectives of SME investing as well as climate smart investing are two really important pillars that we think Equity Group is incredibly well placed to pursue. We do have this aligned ambition about empowering entrepreneurs to realize their economic freedom, as well as to push Kenya's green growth plans. So it's the combination of these two objectives that I think this group is incredibly well equipped to pursue. And it aligns with what BII's mission is, So recently we had the COP26 in Glasgow, where the UK government announced its Clean Green Initiative, and our Prime Minister announced a 3 billion sterling investment into Africa for the Climate Green Initiative. And I'm proud to say that our investment here in the Equity Group is the first such initiative in Africa under this program. So we're very proud to have this partnership together with the IFC and as was mentioned, with our other fellow DFIs and funders, Symbiotics and Responsibility. I think it is this first step for us to pursue these dual goals of climate finance as well as SME funding, and not just in Kenya, but also, as your group CEO said, further into the whole region to pursue both green growth as well as the African Recovery and Resilience Plan. So on behalf of the BII, I'm very proud as an organization to be part of this journey that, as your group CEO says, we've got to go further, and we need to give you the financial wherewithal to realize your own ambitions. So with that, I'd like to thank you all for this morning's celebration, and we're very proud to be part of it. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Stephen Presley, our partner, Head of Financial Services and Africa Coverage, British International Investment, PLC. It's now my singular honor to invite friend Mohammed Gured, IFC Vice President, Risk and Finance. And take note, Chairman, that it's about risk and finance. This plan is about managing the risk of a massive plan and financing it. So for IFC to have sent its vice president from Washington, it shows the significance. And just a week after a retreat of 20 colleagues with IFC, that level of commitment just demonstrates how significant and maybe the importance that history will place on this African recovery and resilience plan. With those many words, Mohammed, the floor is yours. Thank you.
Thank you very much, James. And it's indeed a pleasure to be here with you and the rest of Equity Group. Our partners, British International Investment, the esteemed board of the group, as well as media guests. So let me also add my congratulations to the distinguished representatives of both Equity Group and IFC, who forged this very important advancement in our partnership at the group level to support the Kenya Equity Group, but also your investment in the region, especially in East Africa and Central Africa. IFC's entry into the shareholding of Equity Group is a significant milestone for our partnership, I believe. And I would like to thank Equity Group for their support in getting us to where we are today. This is really significant and important. The investment we are making today is part of IFC's regional approach in seeking to create a more resilient banking sector in Africa by strengthening the capital adequacy and the regulatory position of our partners, with the ultimate objective, of course, of really benefiting small and medium-scale enterprises, but also making sure that there is an availability of financing for climate finance. Supporting SMEs, digital finance services, and climate-friendly projects is central to our strategy in Africa to help create jobs, of course, but also to respond to climate change and leverage opportunities that are affordable, but also in the digital economy. As we expand our partnership between our two groups, we are pleased to collaborate closely with British International Investment to support Equity Group, especially their Kenyan subsidiary, and to expand lending for small businesses and for smart, climate-smart projects. The collaboration we are announcing here today comes at a critical time as the effects of COVID-19 pandemic and the headwinds that you are seeing more recently that are created by the current geopolitical volatility is really impacting global economies. In this context, our cooperation with Equity Group and British International Investment is really aimed at looking for ways to recover, but not only to recover, but to recover more resiliently from the effects of COVID-19, but also to face these new headwinds that create new challenges. And among others, we see the rising inflation, but also we see further stress being placed on things like food security and supply chain. IFC's partnership with the Equity Group will support the group to deliver its 6 billion Africa Recovery and Resilience Plan. As James indicated, we were privileged to be invited to sit with Equity Group board and management to look at this strategy and to provide input into it. This is the type of partnership, frankly, we aspire for, where we are not only financing, but we are also part of thinking together in finding solutions to the challenges that are facing the African continent. Africa's business and entrepreneurs are moving the continent, of course, and the continent's economy forward and generating dynamic solutions to its challenges. In our view, now is the time to accelerate support for these businesses to ensure that they have access to finance and services necessary to create jobs and growth. IFC's equity stake in Equity Group is also our first in Africa that aligns with our approach to increase green equity investments in financial institutions. Through this investment, Equity Group commits to zero lending for coal projects, and we are extremely proud of that. This puts down a marker, and in my view, it's a precedent for the rest of the industry to follow. A key pillar of Equity's strategy, if I may say, is also underpinned by the growth of agribusiness, which is critical to food security, but also vulnerable to the effects of climate change. Hence, the whole approach of making sure that this partnership is anchored also on climate finance and resiliency. Through these investments and technical assistance from IFC's climate advisory team, Equity is developing a strategy towards financing energy efficiency, renewable energy, green buildings, and climate-smart agribusiness. I'm proud we can partner with Equity Group to further grow funding for small businesses, increase access to digital financial services, and support climate-smart projects. I really look forward to seeing the impact this partnership will have in the region's recovery and growth. And I'm very confident that we will attain these objectives. Thank you very much again. Thank you, James.
Let's appreciate again once. We now move to the next phase of the signing ceremony, and I kindly request Meli to facilitate that process. Kindly, Meli. So the members of the fourth estate, after the signing ceremony, then you take the photos as they exchange the signing documents, and these will be a document signed by IFC, BII, and Equity Group. Thank you. If you can kindly now be upstanding and exchange the documents kindly. And the members of the fourth estate, so that you can take your photos nicely. Allow me to remove the chairs behind them. Thank you, Diana. Thank you. If Melly you could join them with the other lady, Brent. Kindly join them in the photo, Melly and our friend. Thank you. Kindly take your seats, and then we'll have the members of the fourth estate for the Q&A. Thank you very much. Now we have an opportunity for a few questions.
Equity Group Foundation, or EGF in short, is a not-for-profit foundation established in Kenya in 2008. It is the social arm of Equity Group Holdings plc that operates in 6 countries in Eastern and Central Africa. The foundation seeks to transform the lives and livelihoods of the people of Africa through programs activated through 6 pillars. These are the education and leadership development, enterprise development and financial inclusion, food and agriculture, energy and environment, health, and social protection. So far, EGF has equipped more than 33 million people with economic opportunities, skills, tools, and technologies to prepare them for the future. Education and leadership development initiatives break the cycle of poverty and develop the next generation of leaders through increased access to secondary and tertiary education, impacting 26,304 students to date. Notably, EGF's Wings to Fly program admits bright scholars from needy backgrounds to transit to secondary school. The program has an over 96% secondary school completion, with 82% of scholars attaining university entry grades. Another signature initiative, the Equity Leaders Program, connects top-performing secondary school graduates to leadership training, coaching, and mentoring prior to proceeding to university. The program has 13,775 university scholars, 633 of whom are attending or are alumni of leading universities across the world. Under the Enterprise Development and Financial Inclusion pillar, EGF stimulates job creation and economic growth by providing micro, small and medium enterprises with advice and entrepreneurship training, and further improves financial capability and individual and household security by connecting people to expert financial education and access to financial services.
We are glad that our purpose distilled down to offering integrated financial services that socially and economically empower consumers, businesses and communities have attracted the support of like-minded partners. I recognize the MasterCard Foundation for teaming with us to train 2.2 million bubbling young men and women to become entrepreneurs through a financial literacy program.
So far, 191,305 micro, small, and medium-sized business owners have been trained on entrepreneurship, with over 140,000 of the MSMEs have received 57.5 billion shillings under the Young Africa Works program, helping businesses to thrive. Through EGF's Food and Agriculture pillar, the program helps to create jobs, improve market access, and expand agricultural production by working in partnership with small and medium-sized farmers to increase their production capabilities and access technology and financial services. Under this pillar, 2 million small-scale farmers have transformed to farming as a business, while almost 40,000 small and medium-sized farmers have been supported to adopt modern methods of farming for increased yields. The focus of the Energy and Environment pillar is the conservation and smart use of natural resources by expanding forest cover, improving water security, and promoting the use of renewable energy and energy-efficient technologies. The pillar has impacted 780,000 households and businesses to access clean energy products, including solar panels for lighting and heating in homes, schools, and hotels. The pillar has encouraged installation of biodigesters for biogas for cooking and generating electricity to power on-farm activities. More than 240,000 households have embraced clean energy products, while 3.12 million trees have been planted to increase forest cover and conserve the environment. The health pillar provides access to comprehensive health financing and private sector-led, affordable, high-quality and standardized health services. So far, 33 Equity Afya franchise-owned medical clinics are operating in Kenya, with more than 305,560 cumulative patient visits. Under the Social Protections Pillar, EGF has committed to reduce social and economic risk and vulnerability and alleviate extreme poverty and deprivation through cash transfers. It provides thousands of marginalized and vulnerable households living in Kenya, Uganda, Rwanda, and South Sudan with social payments through cash transfers. The foundation is involved in 22 programs across East and Central Africa, serving 3.3 million persons. So far, 77.4 billion shillings has been disbursed via equity cash transfer infrastructure. This is but a glimpse of the activities of EGF in our pursuit of championing the socio-economic prosperity of the African people. We invite you to learn more and join us.